Yes. You know what that means? No, it's this way. I always forget. You know what that means, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side Projekt Podcast. Yes. How is everybody doing, man? Oh, man. Took a week off. You guys know how it goes. Some people may know, some people may not. Some people have seen it, made a statement on my Instagram as well, but took a week off. You guys haven't seen me for a week, kind of doing episodes semi-weekly, bi-weekly, not really committing to something right now. Usually it's every week, but I got a couple things going on, and doing it bi-weekly gives me an opportunity to take care of those things that I've got going on and still put a lot of effort into making a good episode for the following week. So it may be bi-weekly, it may not be bi-weekly. A couple weeks ago, it was like 3 episodes in a row, then a week off, and then an episode and a week off. You never really know exactly how it's going to go. We're just having a good old time here, ladies and gentlemen. This last week, I went to WonderCon. And that was really cool. Met a lot of cool people, met a lot of cool cosplayers I've never met before, made a lot of connections with people that are hopefully going to come on the show. Really cool people. And met a few cosplays of the week, people that I featured as cosplays of the week in the past. That was really cool. And just all kinds of things, man. Shout out to Hummin, by the way. If anybody knows Hummin, he was a previous cosplay of the week. Really cool dude. One of the most humble dudes that I have ever met in person. Hummin, you should change your Instagram name to Humble Hummin because you're absolutely dope, man. Much like the two people that I'm going to sit down with here today. Very humble, two amazing people, two amazing cosplayers that are both fondly appreciated in the Power Ranger community. One of my guests this week is known as the Lady Green Ranger, while the other is the Black Ranger, a part of the fan series that has been featured on this show before several times, that is making glorious strides among several communities and fan bases as they mash up and combine the characters and concepts of MortalKombat and Power Rangers into one original storyline entitled Kombat In The Grid. Having show creator Mike Patron on twice before, alongside co-creator and concept designer Ken Cosplay, I'd like to put our hands together and give a warm welcome to, known on Instagram as East Coast Power Rangers and True Evil Ryu, Shelly Santiago and Alexander Florencio. Let's put our hands together, yes. How you guys doing, man?
What is up, guys?
Oh, man.
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Man, I'm so glad to have you guys here and chop it up with you guys, man. I'm happy to talk with you guys about what you've got going on, past, present, and future, as well as get to hear some insights from cast members of Kombat In The Grid, combining two staples of the 90s pop culture that's still going strong today. I mentioned just a moment ago that I had co-creators Mike and Ken on in the past, and while they developed the show, they also play Mortal Kombat ninjas on the series, Scorpion and Reptile respectively, who gained the ability to, throughout the series, morph into the unique Scorpion Ranger and Reptile Ranger. But this is the first time that I'm able to sit down and talk with cast members of the show that portray Power Rangers within the series. But before we dive just into Kombat In The Grid, let's get to know a little bit more about these two and exactly how everything all led up to them being in the Kombat In The Grid series in the first place. And I do want to say, though, I do want to apologize if we do have any issues throughout this episode. We are having some technical difficulties that we've been trying to work out for the past 20, 25 minutes. So hopefully everything continues to go smoothly. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. But if it does, I do apologize ahead of time. And if we don't have to reshoot, I'll try to fix any issues that we have in editing. So just wanted to let everybody know that ahead of time, man. All right. So Shelly, the Green Ranger, the Green Power Ranger, cosplaying as the Green Ranger, one of my favorite Rangers for sure. But I did do a deep dive on your Instagram here, and I do notice that a couple years back at Electric City Comic-Con, you won runner-up in a cosplay contest for your Crow cosplay. Was that actually your first cosplay?
Yes.
And if it wasn't, though, what was your first cosplay?
That actually was my first public cosplay. Yes.
Nice.
Super excited to the Crow.
Were you messing around with any other other cosplays before the Crow?
A couple of times I did do Mortal Kombat, but we're talking early 90s before internet was cool, you know?
That's crazy, though. You've been doing this for a long time.
I felt that style, yeah. I always tell people for fun I wear tights, and I'm in my almost 40s, so.
Yeah. That's cool. So you've been doing this for a while then. I mean, what was it that attracted you to the cosplay community in the first place? I mean, what made you want to get into cosplay in the first place?
Really, there was a cosplayer. He doesn't cosplay anymore. His name was Justin. He was known as Premises. And he did Forever Green. Even was an ambassador for JDF. Now he's off doing his own thing on Twitch. But he was actually the inspiration right there. I seen him actually put on that suit, and I was like, I want to do that too. I want a suit too. I'm going to do that.
Nice.
And I made it happen, you know?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. If you love something, you got to go for it, man. Alex, what about you? You portray the Black Ranger in the Kombat in the Grid series, but I do also know that you're a fan of cosplays from the likes of different mangas as well as Street Fighter. I mean, where did you get your start in cosplaying first? What was your first cosplay?
Wow, that's actually a question that I've done. I'm surprised that anybody has asked me that question, because you're actually the first person to at least officially ask me. My first official cosplay was doing the Alpha Series Eva Ryu. And nice. I started off as that version from, since the day when I actually really wanted to do a little bit more Street Fighter cosplays. I've seen a lot of people doing their variations of Ryu, Ken, Akuma, Chun-Li, and I'm just like, I haven't seen any Eva Ryu cosplays in a long time. So I decided to say, hey, let me be the first one to actually do some Eva Ryu cosplays. And that's when I decided to come up with a little name saying, hey, what should I call myself? Ultra Ryu, Fast Ryu, Crazy Ryu? No. So I had to say True Eva Ryu. So I'm going to be the first ever official Eva Ryu cosplayer.
Nice.
And it kind of gave me some inspiration doing other variations of Eva Ryu, which I'm actually going to be doing Street Fighter 4 Eva Ryu very soon. But that's just a little teaser. That's a little teaser for in the future.
Right.
And also I'm going to be doing Kage from Street Fighter 5. Hopefully I get the chance to figure that out as well.
Nice.
But one of the main ones that everybody knows me right now is the Eva Ryu Ranger, which was actually given a inspiration by another artist. And he actually officially said that he wanted that officially to be done. Right. But there's nobody that has done it yet. So I'm actually the official one that made that happen. And everybody was just surprised from that, to the point that, this is something different. Yeah. We've seen a Ryu Ranger, but we never seen an Eva Ryu Ranger. Right. Let's bring a little bit of a little history.
Yeah. What made you want to get into cosplay most? Just like I asked Shelly, I mean, what is it about cosplaying in general, and also the community? What made you want to be a part of it the most?
Man, it's basically the creativity in general. I never expected myself to be a part of a community that was so talented in many different ways, especially when I got the chance to meet Shelly. Holy hell, not only she's a cosplayer, but she also knows how to kick ass in real life too. She's also a martial artist. So that's another reason why me and her connect a little bit, because when I asked her hey, how long have you been doing martial arts? She said, for a good while, young man. I'm like, oh shit. I know the youngest one in the room.
And as we see here, it's been since the 90s. So she's, you know what I mean? We got an OG here today for sure.
And that's why I respected her for how she is, not only as a cosplayer, but also as a showman towards martial arts. And when I found out that she actually knows how to, do, certain katas, certain, stances, and I'm just wow. I'm honored to actually be next to this person that actually knows something that I probably don't even know. Right. For me, I grew up in learning martial arts myself, but usually for me, I never say that I'm always the best. I always learn from others, try my best to gain a little bit of experience just to advance myself. And I learned a lot from Shelly. If it wasn't for Shelly and the rest of the team, trust me, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for them.
being that you have your Evil Ryu cosplay, you clearly are a Street Fighter fan. You also clearly are a part of a series where one half is Mortal Kombat, both of you. So I have a question to ask, a couple Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat questions here. And I did not know, Shelly, you mentioned that in the 90s you had a couple Mortal Kombat questions. So I guess, you know what, this is going to be a question for both of you instead, now that I know that piece of information. But Alex, besides
the 90s.
besides Evil Ryu, because you cosplay as him, who's your favorite Street Fighter character besides something like that? Anyone else?
Ooh, if I were to say anybody in particularly that actually impacted my Street Fighter franchise, would probably be Cody. Like, definitely Cody, because everybody has been asking that type of speculation, like, hey, what if Cody is actually one of the strongest characters in the series? And I'm just like, it's a possibility. Like, there's been hints, and when you actually read the Udon comics, Cody has faced off Oni. For those of you that don't know who Oni is basically a more advanced and stronger version of Akuma. And he has like that Super Saiyan haircut, right? Very buffed up, very demonic looking. But it's confirmed that Cody is actually one of the strongest characters of Street Fighter. Right. Well, technically speaking, right now he's the strongest. But since there's this new character named Luke, it's confirmed that he's going to be the newest Street Fighter franchise / main lore of the story for Street Fighter 6. But I'll definitely say Cody is actually one of my favorite characters.
Shelly, I do got to ask before we even move forward, because it's a couple questions here and it's all going to come together. Are you a Street Fighter fan or not so much?
Yes, I am a Street Fighter fan. And when I was younger, I was a huge fan of Vega. I love the vein.
Nice. So would that be your favorite character?
Oh, yes. The vainness of this character is so magical.
For both of you, with that being said, who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
I was always huge Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero was always my number one.
The ninjas are classic.
Damn, that's a hard one.
I know. I have trouble too.
Damn, if I were to say anybody in the Mortal Kombat franchise, I'm gonna have to go way back. I would say Blaze. Blaze is actually one of my favorite characters.
Wow, I never hear anybody mention Blaze. Okay, now that we've got
reasons why.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's a reason why I actually kind of like the whole history towards Blaze, because not only that he's actually one of the most well-known characters from the background, but he actually is one of the main lures towards the storyline where, Shao Kahn basically defeats him and gains the whole control and power just to defeat the gods. And I'm just like, holy hell, that's actually really insane. I never knew that Blaze was actually one of the main, corresponding characters. And then also, if you actually read the comics, it's confirmed that, obviously enough, Blaze is one of the main protagonists of the story that you actually have to defeat just to get godly powers. And guess who defeated him? Shao Kahn. And I don't know if you actually watched, I don't know if you guys actually played Mortal Kombat 9, but Mortal Kombat 9 is actually also confirmed that Shao Kahn actually gains his powers, kills off almost every combatant that you see, and also kills Raiden from the future towards the past. Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 9 is actually one of my favorites. Yeah,
9 is just really, it's just
9 is good
towards timelines. It's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. So with that being said,
Blaze is one of my favorite characters.
Alex picked Cody and Blaze. Shelly picked Vega and Sub-Zero. So Alex, between Cody and Blaze, who would win?
Okay. Now you just got me in a predicament right now.
And then Shelly, same thing goes for you, Shelly. Vega or Sub-Zero, who wins?
I'm going to go with Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero. I think much the world is going to know Sub-Zero would win that match. Yes.
I think so too with that one.
I'm just probably going to say, damn, I'm sorry, Cody, but Blaze probably win this one.
I think so too. I think so too.
He's a god. Come on. There's no way that you're gonna defeat a god. Unless if you're a KOF then that's a different story. But he's a god. You can't kill him off.
We've had Street Fighter crossover with Marvel before. We've had Mortal Kombat crossover with DC before. But there's a fan base that in the gaming world that is interested in seeing Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, and it's something that I'm not too certain that that we would ever see happen. Actually, just my opinion. I don't think those two creators want to do that. But you never know. You never know. But are you guys in a group that is interested in seeing such a game come to light? Or are you outright without it? Do you want to see a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat? And do you think that the gameplay styles would mesh well?
Damn. Well, here's the thing. Since I actually have a lot of cosplay friends that do cosplay a lot of fighting game characters, and they're part of the FGC as well, and they support it too. We've been asking for that for years. And I'm talking about during EVO, we've been asking for that for years. But we're not going to get that, especially with what's going on with Capcom. Mm-hmm. They really love their hyper fighting games.
Yeah,
exactly. They can't let that happen.
They're very different fighting styles.
Exactly, they're very different fighting styles, and the way how you actually going to make the mechanics combine together, that's going to take a lot of work. Right. Which I'm really surprised for Tekken of all games with Namco. Tekken was actually one of the games I highly respect for guest characters, and reasons why for that. The first time when I actually saw Akuma being announced in Tekken, I was mind blown. I was super mind blown. I loved how Akuma was playing from the game. They refreshed him, they polished him up, they made him look much more better from Street Fighter V, and I'm just like, whoa, this is something that we need. This is something that we need. Like, if Capcom could do this, then come on, we got this. And then when they started adding Geese Howard, Noctis, they even added what's this guy's name from The Walking Dead? Negan. Oh, they finally added Negan to the game.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's when everything went crazy.
Yeah.
And if we actually got that chance, highly respect it.
Right.
Highly respect it.
Shelly, what do you think? I mean, whether it were to actually happen, disregarding just the mechanics or if it would, or the creators even want it, I mean, would you just be a fan of seeing Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat come together?
I think it'd be a good match. It'd be a good match because, I come from the old school 90s where when we had our consoles, we're like, oh, you play Mortal Kombat? No, I play Street Fighter.
Yes,
no, Street
I remember that. Yes.
Mortal Kombat's better,
Yeah. Yep.
Get out of here. Mortal Kombat looks like real people, though. Having those childlike conversations about these characters.
Yeah, because back in the 90s, for the younger crowd, back in the 90s, it was very much so Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. That's what you were playing back in the 90s most. There were definitely other fighting games, but for sure. Yes. Yes, me too, yeah. You mentioned Alex, since we're talking about it, you mentioned Tekken, of course, and I was a bigger fan of Tekken when I was younger. I haven't really played it, and now that I've grown a little bit more and whatnot, I stuck with Mortal Kombat as my all-time favorite fighting game, just for me. But would you want to see such as maybe Tekken link up with Mortal Kombat? I mean, is there a fighting game that you think like that's got to link up with, that's got to be a versus with Mortal Kombat, being that Mortal Kombat's only done DC. They've only crossed over with DC.
Yeah. Well, anything that's Warner Brothers based would cross over with DC.
Right.
So
right.
it makes
True.
sense.
Yes.
But it also it also depends on the branding. If I were to say any type of fighting game that would literally make sense with Mortal Kombat, I would definitely say Samurai Showdown.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay, yeah.
Because people who say that Samurai Showdown isn't gory or anything like that. No, it's gory. It's gory. It's gory.
It was gory.
Because that was my next thing too. Is like a lot of franchises don't want to have their characters get dismembered or have that much gore, which is the same.
Or anything.
Exactly, which is exactly what happened with when they did the MK versus DC and everything. Warner Bros. Changed everything. There was no fatalities in the same way that we have in Mortal Kombat. They were toning everything down.
To put a cheat code. I remember having to put a cheat code just to see the blood in Mortal Kombat.
Right, that was a thing. That was a thing. I totally forgot about that. That was a thing. I forgot. Keeping with theme of mashing and combining characters with Power Rangers, since that's what you guys are about with Kombat in the Grid, let's do a quick highlight of the fact that, Alex, you mentioned it briefly, you did do your Ryu Ranger in the past, stating that it was a side project for you, no pun intended for the title of this show, but I think that's dope, man, and it was a great job. It's up on the screen for people that are watching right now. But Shelly, if you had the opportunity, whether it be actually bringing it to light within cosplay, or even just the idea, just something that you enjoy thinking about, if you could mash up any character from anything that you enjoy with Power Rangers, is there anything or anyone that you'd like to see become a Ranger?
Anyone? Well, we live in an age where anyone could become a Ranger. We've even made Bulk and Skull Ranger. We come in a world where Freddy Krueger's involved now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let's see Chucky the Power Ranger.
Yes, dude. Let's have the whole horror verse become Rangers.
Yes. And the fact that, like cosplayers come up with their own ideas of their own version of Power Rangers, which I think is like that's what keeps the franchise alive. Right. That's what keeps it alive.
Yeah.
It's us OGs telling our little kids. Yeah. Hey, come look. I used to watch this when I was a kid. Look at them kicking butt there. You know what I mean? And we passed on that knowledge. Even kids today, it's like the whole Tommy thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tommy was it's like the Michael Jordan of Power Rangers, whether you love him or hate him. Right. You go to a kid and go, hey, you want to play Power Rangers? Yeah, I'm Tommy. That's the first name that pops up.
It's so insane that he's still so highly respected and prominent in the Power Rangers community to this day. It's crazy.
Highly loved and highly hated all at once, you know? All you fans out there, you already know he was only scheduled for 5 episodes. Or struggled, hey, let's keep Tommy alive. Yo, the kids like Tommy. Then if you watch the behind the scenes old videos, you can see Jason David Frank. You like Tommy, Green Ranger. He fought to keep that character alive. Love him or hate him, he fought to keep Tommy alive. That's why he became the White Ranger.
We're talking about mashups. We're talking about grids. Let's talk about it, man. One of the dopest mashups in history, if you ask me. The series that you two are a part of, Kombat in the Grid. And Shelly, from what I understand, Mike actually reached out to you to be a part of this series. And I actually have a quote from Mike that I want to read that he had posted on IG before. So I'll throw that up right now. I quote, I want to give a special shout out. And by the way, Mike is the creator of the series for anybody that didn't know that. Quote, I want to give a special shout out to East Coast Power Rangers, my lead Green Ranger. I had a choice to ask around and I didn't. I didn't want Kombat in the Grid to just be a crossover. I wanted it to mean something. So I started off with showing anyone, especially LGBTQ, can be a Ranger. And I chose Shelly Santiago, the Green Queen. Since day one, been showing major support. Since the beginning, since the drawings, the concepts, promoting. Now look how far we've come. The world will forever know my Green Ranger, the leader of the Power Rangers universe, and it's only the beginning. So, Shelly, what happened when Mike reached out to you about the show? Obviously, as he stated, you were supporting the concept of the show before it even got off the ground, which sounds to me like you were in support of the show before you were actually even a part of it. So, I mean, how did that go down? How did Mike approach you about being a part of Kombat in the Grid?
He noticed me. I would say he noticed me by my TikToks and IGs and all that. He approached me. He knew I was watching all these fan films. I was sharing them, supporting them, such as, Unworthy, Colin Bass, and his, Rise of the Ninja series and all that stuff. And I was a huge fan. And as to the point that I'm making videos and I'm like, hey, look at me. I want to do something cool too.
Yes.
Hey, Unworthy, somebody.
Hey, look, I'm here too.
Exactly. So he hit me up and he came to me for the different concept, being that, I'm part of the LGBT community. He wanted to bring in a different Tommy. Yes, we have seen female Tommies. We saw that they incorporated the LGBT with Unworthy. Right. We had the female Tommy with Kim. And now I'm playing the new Tommy with a little kick. The kick about my Tommy is, who's seen a tomboy Tommy?
You guys got a unique thing going on.
Our closest tomboy we got right now is Dino Fury. Thank you, God. You know, Dino Fury Green, you know, she's the one who ripped that skirt off and set it off for everybody now. You know what I mean? I feel she set it off for everybody. I seen that. I'm not even going to lie. I shed a tear. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
I'm not even going to lie about that, you know? So like bringing that in and seeing that, you know, kind of like Lucita Enchanted. She was the one, fresh like a drip. She was the one everybody counted on. She was the masculine one, two-spirited. You know what I mean? And that's something I want to incorporate into this character.
And what was it about Kombat in the Grid though that drew you in as well? Like what made you want to accept the offer? Was there anything when seeing Kombat in the Grid where you were like, oh man, I definitely want to be a part of this? I mean, was it the OG 90s feeling of having Power Rangers and Mortal Kombat together? Because I know for me personally, just seeing Mortal Kombat and Power Rangers just alone, like without even realizing exactly what Mike was doing, I was like, oh my God, it's like two of my favorite things when I was a kid coming together. Like
he hit me up. That's the funny thing. He hit me up and he's like, Shelly, we've seen Street Fighter. We've seen this. We've seen that. Why not Mortal Kombat and Power Rangers?
Right.
And I felt like the little light bulb just lit over my head. I was like, oh my God, no one's done this. No one's thought of this.
Right.
Now we got Scorpion Ranger, Sub-Zero Ranger.
When I first saw it myself, like I said just a few moments ago, just even seeing Mortal Kombat alone, just seeing Power Rangers alone, without because how I met Mike was that I just stumbled upon him. I don't even actually remember how I stumbled upon him. Probably maybe just searching through cosplays. It could have been somebody sending it to me. I'm not quite sure what it was. And I saw his Scorpion cosplay is what I saw first. And then as I was looking more at his stuff, I saw Scorpion Ranger and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But I didn't put two and two together that he was working on what was going to become Kombat in the Grid. And I had featured him as a cosplay of the week. And he was really happy about that. And he reached out to me and he was like, I'd love to come on the show and talk. And then we were like talking back and forth through DMs. And then he started telling me, I'm like creating this series where I'm mashing it up. And I was like, oh, what? And at first I thought like, oh, that's cool. He's going to have like Mortal Kombat characters and Power Ranger characters come together. And it's going to be like, they're going to fight or they're going to do something. And then he was like, no. But I'm taking it a step further. And he's like, I'm going to mash them up. We're going to have Scorpion Ranger. We're going to have Sub-Zero Ranger. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, I'm already excited. Two staples of the 90s coming together and now you're combining them, you're morphing them. Like what a unique situation. And that's what drew me to it immediately. Episode 2 of Kombat in the Grid. Episode 2 of the series focuses a little bit on your character, Shelly, with lines at that. You have a few lines at that in episode 2. And something that I noticed that maybe others may have not, maybe some did, is that the person that plays your significant other in the series, if I'm not mistaken, is actually your significant other in real life. Is that correct?
Yes, she is. That is my wife. Yes.
Awesome. Yes.
She
okay.
Is we're we themed her cat. We themed her cat.
That's awesome.
From my world, yeah.
How did she feel about being part of the show? Was she hesitant or was she down for it?
She was a little bit hesitant because Mike just approached out of nowhere. We came to shoot in and Mike just runs up to her and he's like, guys, I have an idea and I'm going to need your wife in this. And I'm like, look at that. My wife was like, what? But she did it.
I was actually there and saw the whole production and her face, Shelly's wife's face was priceless. Oh my God. Her face was so priceless that she couldn't even think about it.
She's probably thinking like, I'm just here to support, I'm here to support my girl and all of a sudden I'm a part of it.
I was just laughing hysterically in the background like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. She's like, now I'm in an episode.
Oh, that's great though. That's great. And then Shelly, I mean, how did it make you feel? Did it make you feel more comfortable having her there on screen or did it make you a little bit more nervous?
No, it didn't make me nervous at all. I was actually more comfortable. I was like, cool, she can suffer with me. You know what I mean?
Okay, because I've had experiences in the past with people that I've dated and stuff that have done whatever it may be that they're doing, and some of them have been more comfortable with me being there. Others have been less comfortable. They're like, I don't want you to see the behind the scenes stuff. I just want you to see when it's out, when it's done, whatever it may be. So I was just curious if you felt more comfortable having her there. Some people, they want to just do their thing and make it happen, and their significant other may make them feel,
I think I can't film without her there.
That's awesome.
My support besides my cat. You know what I mean? She's my cosplay handler, my cosplay builder.
That's awesome.
You know, she's the one
I didn't
who
know
made
that. That's cool.
My shield. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's cool.
So she does a lot of my cosplays and stuff like that. And she does armor for friends and things like that too.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That is really cool.
I kind of brought her into the Power Ranger world, you know? Mm-hmm. She's like, you're such a nerd for Power Rangers. And I'm like, and you are too.
And you're about to be too. Let's go. I'm about to teach you everything. That's awesome.
I'll get her in a preschool. You'll see. I'll get her in a preschool.
It'll happen. If she's watching right now, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Mike Patron, the creator of Kombat In The Grid, he has stated several times, even in the opening segment of the first episode, how Kombat In The Grid is a labor of love from cosplayers. The majority of you, if not all of you, I'm not certain, have never acted before, and this would be your first venture into this territory. For both of you, Shelly and Alex, if this was something that you've never done before, was this something that you were nervous about doing, and was this something that you've ever had in mind? Did you ever want to step into acting?
I would definitely say this. Well, I always consider cosplaying just like acting. Like, it's basically comes from the same cloth. If you know how to actually act as the character, you can easily act in screen. For me, for instance, when Mike saw me performing for the first time for episode 3, no spoilers, but you're definitely gonna find that soon.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yep, I got some questions.
I did a lot of finessing. Oh my God. Yeah, I did a lot of finessing. Most of the stuff that I've done were off script, and even Mike was like, "Dude, this is what we need. This is what we're talking about. I need this." I'm like, some parts of the script, like, you literally have to go off script so it can make a little bit of sense. Yeah. Usually some parts were just kind of like wonky, so you have to play around with it just for it to make sense a little bit.
Right. Not everything that's written on paper translates when you're actually there. You're there in the moment. You're like, you know what? This would be better if we did it this way. Actually, it's not exactly what I envisioned, but so we're going to have to switch it up. We're going to have to change a couple things here. Yeah. So it makes sense.
And oh my God. And behind the scenes towards doing the takes, especially doing the take over and over and over. Oh my God. I could actually, Shelly, I wish you were there to see it. The amount of times that I got kicked in the stomach. Holy hell. Holy hell. That's the only time that That's the only time that I probably spoil that little one set. Yeah. But holy hell, just doing that one take, just doing it over and over and over, and especially being on your knees. Just trying to reenact the same thing. It was so annoying, but it was just like everybody was just laughing in the background, like, "Oh my God, this is priceless." Yeah. Oh, Alex, do it again. I'm like, how many times do you have to do it?
I bet it's draining, but the end result. The end result is rewarding.
Oh my God. It's rewarding from the very end. And if it wasn't for the team in general, I wouldn't be able to do this. And if I were to say anybody that deserves that spotlight, was Brian. Oh my God. Brian with his edits. Oh.
Yes. Yeah, he did a phenomenal job.
He's a genius.
Right. Yeah, he is definitely. Shelly, were you nervous to step into this area?
Yes, I was. Yeah, very, very nervous. I mean, if you guys even follow me, you will see. I don't do much videos or anything. I don't go live. I don't really do any of that. I mostly share and support other Rangers of the cosplay community, no matter where you're from. That's mostly what I do on my social medias. But when he approached me about playing Tommy, he goes, "This is going to be your Tommy. Okay, we're going to forget the fact that Tommy was a guy, and you know what I mean, and things that you're going to be your own Tommy. You make it your own."
Right.
And then we throw the nostalgia of it, like, hold up, but Tommy in the show does that too.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing I like about Kombat In The Grid is we're trying to go for that nostalgic feel of both franchises. Mm-hmm. We want you to see a part and go, "Oh my God, that was in Mortal Kombat. Oh my God, that was in an episode of Power Rangers." We want to hit you with the nostalgia.
Right.
That's what we want to do it.
So, Alex, you were a little bit more comfortable with it. Shelly, you were a little bit more nervous with it. But I think you guys are really, however route you go and wherever it continues to go, you guys are both doing a phenomenal job with everything that you've got going on with Kombat In The Grid and the acting that you're doing. I couldn't even tell if you were nervous or not, Shelly. It didn't come off on camera. It came out great. It came out perfect. By the time this episode comes out that you guys are watching and or listening to now, episode 3 of Kombat In The Grid should have premiered a day before this was released on April 9th, I believe. And it's the longest episode thus far, with even more stepped up visuals, even more stepped up acting, more characters that were never quite discussed or promoted before. So there's definitely some special moments, special appearances, and secrets that are left for real time watching. And in episode 3, Alex, your Black Ranger actually plays a decently large role in this episode. A few things that you mentioned just a few moments ago. With that being said, how did you become a part of Kombat In The Grid in the first place?
I was actually honored when Mike hit me up because originally one of my closest friends named Isaiah, props to him, man. I'll definitely say that he was supposed to be the original Black Ranger, but he had to drop out since he officially had a daughter on the way. So he gave me the role so I could actually play as Adam instead of Zach.
Right.
So that whole role of playing Adam, like even Mike has asked me like, hey, do you have any martial arts experience, fighting experience? And I said, hell yeah, I do. And what me and Mike did, for those of you that don't know, we basically, sparred a little bit, duked it out a little bit, and he fell in love with my, with my skills. And he just said, you're part of Kombat In The Grid.
Nice.
And I was just in shock. Like, I just didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit nervous meeting the team because I didn't know who to meet. And then when I met Shelly, when I met Sir Julius Cosplay, Demetrius, everybody, like, they were just wonderful, especially Shelly. When I first met Shelly, oh my gosh, she was a sweetheart when she first saw me. She was like, I don't know how to say, like I don't even know how to feel about this, but Shelly, when I first met you, mm-hmm. I was so nervous to meet you in person. Like, I just didn't know what to say. Like, I was literally so nervous to the point that I'm like, damn. Mm-hmm. Like, if she's gonna be the Tommy, I literally have to meet her first at least. Like, she's gonna be the star. Like, this person is the star, so I have to meet her. And
that's cool. That's so cool, though.
Just all connected. We just consider ourselves as family after that.
Right. That's awesome.
Everyone that's in this project is very passionate about both franchises, mm-hmm. and that's what's making the magic happen. We're playing our favorite characters, and we're making it our own.
Yes, I see that because I've talked with a lot of the cast members off camera as well, and everybody, like you just said, I see everybody. People cosplay as Power Rangers, people cosplay as MortalKombat. If they're not cosplaying about it, they're sharing other people. They're talking about it. Like, it really is a labor of love from all aspects. Everybody involved with Kombat In The Grid. Episode 3 features Lord Draken and yourself, Alex, among many others, of course, but where we finally see Draken in the flesh, searching for the Green Ranger, which is Shelly here, and he's pretty stern with you on finding the information on the last Tommy via your psychic abilities, and a point that he puts forth by physically roughing you up a bit, something you also mentioned earlier. And I actually have a very small clip, and we'll showcase that for the people right here, right now.
My lord, the Tommy that you're searching is not a male. It's a female.
What? How can this be? You miserable little peasant. I should squash you like a bug right now.
Wait, my lord. My psychic abilities. I've detected other life forms, and they're very powerful.
What? What do you mean, power? Are they rangers? More rangers for me to kill?
I'm not sure, my lord. They're not from this world.
Man, when I saw that clip, I immediately thought, like, wow, dude, great job. Like, this just keeps getting better and better and better from the visuals to the acting and like everything that I said earlier. Really, really great job, man. Episode 3 contains a lot of twists and turns. I'll say that. And I feel like everyone that you interacted with, Alex, within episode 3, and everyone that interacted with everybody in general had very great chemistry. Without any spoilers, Alex, what was it like getting into character that day? You mentioned a little bit earlier, but I mean, how was it on set? How did you feel? Is there anything else that you can go in depth with without giving away too many spoilers?
Yeah, I feel like Tom Holland at this very point. So I wish I could give you all the information, but it's like,
you gotta tread very carefully.
All right, so
we want to say things, but we don't want to say too much.
I know.
And what I like about this episode, and I definitely would say the whole plot of this episode is there's gonna be a lot of twists and turns. Yeah. But the main thing is just seeing seeing things that you believe is there. Let's just say you're looking into a mirror and then you're looking in yourself, but you're not sure if you feel like you are yourself or not. That's basically all I could say towards the audience right now. Just remember, everything could be deceiving.
Yes. Everything may not be exactly what it is. Not everything is what it may seem. This episode is absolutely amazing. Episode 3, like I keep saying, they everybody in Kombat in the Grid, from the editing, from the music, from the actors, the cosplayers, everything involved. I mean, it's just been stepped up beyond all belief in episode 3. And kudos to you guys for what you've accomplished, respectively, in your personal lives, in your solo lives, in your solo cosplay lives thus far, with all your cosplay dreams and goals and aspirations, as well as what you're accomplishing with Kombat in the Grid. The series just keeps getting more and more exciting, and I can't wait to see what develops for episode 4, what episode 4 brings. Mike's gonna hate me for this, but is there anything in episode 4 that you guys can spoil? Is there anything? No, I'm just kidding. Don't spoil it. I just wanted to give Mike a little quick heart attack.
Damn, Shelly, should I just do a little to you?
Don't get fired. Don't make Mike fire you.
A little tiny bit.
Make sure you
all I can say is just look up to the sky. Just look up to the sky.
Yes. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. We are going to get ready to wrap up here, but before we do, I do want to ask both of you, do you have any cosplay plans for the future? Do you have anything that you'd like to discuss, reveal, or even tease? Is there anything that you're working on, even if it may not be cosplay? Maybe now that you guys have gotten to this acting situation, is there anything else that maybe you'd like to pursue? Any projects of any kind that you're going to be moving forward with in the future that you'd like to discuss here today?
Actually, there's one project that I'm actually working on right now that Leo's actually basically helped me out with a Tengu mask for a KOF cosplay that I'm actually doing. But I'm not just going to turn that as a KOF cosplay. I'm also going to turn it into a Ranger cosplay.
Oh, nice.
So, for those of you that don't know who Mr. Karate is, he's actually one of the most well-known characters from Art of Fighting, plus the KOF series from KOF 13. And he's actually going to be, he's actually on the works. I can't spoil much, but it's going to be coming up very soon. Shelly has seen the artwork. She loved it. She loved how the design is. Hopefully I do get the chance to actually show it to you. But let's just say it's a little mashup towards the Psycho Rangers, but a little bit more advanced.
Nice.
A little bit more advanced.
Right.
So I can't show more, but I'll definitely show it in the future.
That's awesome. Shelly, is there anything that you have in mind or anything that you may be working on? Or
right now, I'm open to work with anyone. So if anybody works for me out there, just hit me up. I do the Ranger thing. I'm a huge Power Ranger fan, so I'm willing to be in any miniseries of Power Rangers.
Yes.
Same here. I'm available too.
Yes. I like that confidence, though.
I'm dedicated to the character Tommy, so I have my own Tommy in the works. And this is a Tommy no one has seen before. The Kombat in the Grid cast has seen this Ranger.
Nice.
But I have not personally revealed it myself. But let's just say, we got Kombat in the Grid out there. We got grids, realms merging. What else can merge with Power Rangers? We're going to find out,
Ooh, yes. yes. Love it, man. All right, I am going to let you guys go. Is there any last words that you'd like to say? Anything that you'd like to say? Anyone you'd like to shout out? Anything like that at all? This is your spotlight. This is your moment. Say whatever is on your mind.
I'll definitely say 3 people have definitely shouted out that actually gave me that inspiration to be here. I'll say Sir Julius Cosplay, one of the greatest guys I ever worked with. Shelly has worked with. Another person I'll definitely say out of all people that have inspired me towards fighting games in general is Maximilian Dude. You, man, you're the real reason why I'm here. So hopefully, if you ever do see this, please support this. Support this man right here. Please support this man right here. He has actually gave me that opportunity to shine. Look at this man, this beautiful man right here. And I'll definitely say the third person is Shelly. Shelly, you've been my inspiration as well, man. Like I can't leave you out. You've been one of my inspirations.
Right. That's awesome, dude. The love is awesome. Shelly, any last words?
Thank Mike for approaching me with this, coming up to me with something that's totally different. You guys are going to see people all shapes and sizes, colors and forms. We're not discriminating. We're not hating. And that's one of the main messages that we're setting out there. You know, I want to thank also H.B. Gibson. Amazing man. Amazing man.
Yes.
The moment we had a voiceover guy, I had to hit him up. I hit him up personally. I said, hey.
Yes.
And the moment he came on board, I felt like I hit Hollywood mode, you know? The moment he came on board. And, you know, I want to thank people also like Demetrius, you know, like when Mike approached me and goes, hey, we got a Sub-Zero. And I'm like, really? He's like, it's He-Man. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
We all know Demetrius for
yes.
He-Man. I'm like, shut up. You got He-Man? Yeah. You know, so I'm like, so this is going to be huge. Just, and then not only that, we've got real martial artists. You know, we've got AJ Cook.
Right.
He fights in a cage for a living.
Right.
This man fights for a cage for a living.
Yep.
Yes, he is a champion. We have Gio. He is our choreographer. Amazing man. He's Afro Samurai in real life. No lie. Major shout out to Brian Edits, man. Mm-hmm. Brian Edits. Because we couldn't morph without you, man. We couldn't even morph without you.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, Shelly Santiago and Alexander Florencio. You can find them at Shelly on East Coast Power Rangers on Instagram. And you can follow Alex at True Evil Ryu on Instagram. Make sure that you're following Kombat in the Grid with an underscore in between each word on Instagram as well. And make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, Kombat in the Grid. Everything that you guys are doing is absolutely awesome. I've been wanting to get you guys on the show for a long time, respectively, to talk about just yourselves in general and the fact that this is working out with Kombat in the Grid and everything, and that I've had Mike and Ken on the show several times and talking about Kombat in the Grid, and just it all worked out so perfectly, and I'm just stoked and I'm thankful to have you guys here, and hopefully we can do more in the future. I also plan to have more Kombat in the Grid cast members on the show, so for anybody that's a fan of Kombat in the Grid, make sure you're subscribed to the Side Project Podcast, because it's going to be one of your number one spots to get exclusive interviews from members of Kombat in the Grid. I thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It's been an honor. I'm so glad to chop it up with you guys, and I can't wait to do it again in the future. This has been great.
Thank you.
If you ever need us again, just call us up.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. You know we can't get out of here just yet. We can't leave just yet, because we got to get into this week's Cosplay of the Week. Oh. And this week's Cosplay of the Week is none other than another Kombat in the Grid, keeping with theme, a Kombat in the Grid cast member, keeping with theme, it is D Prime XD on Instagram, and I'm throwing it up on the screen right about, it's combat time, now. If you're watching this after you have already watched episode 3 of Kombat in the Grid, then you are already aware. If you're watching this before, well, you saw the clip, so you kind of know a little bit about what to expect here, but this is absolutely amazing, man. D Prime XD on Instagram, and he's got the caption for this photo says, and it's a quote, "What hope do you stand now that I am a god? This is my world. Here, my destiny is all the more certain." Absolutely amazing, dude. And this amazing photo, as well as the edit, is by Lazaro. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lazaro_Studios. It's LAZZARO. And the rest of the caption says, "Still can't believe Draken is still getting love this far." This amazing edit was by the great Lazaro Studios. He deserves all the praise for this. Overall, an amazing person. I appreciate you guys for making me feel like a true Power Ranger. This is absolutely amazing, dude. Down from the cosplay to the photo to the edit to the everything. It's just phenomenal, dude. Also, let me know. D Prime, let me know. Where'd you get your suit? How'd you get your suit? Did you make it yourself? Who made it? Give them a shout out. Give them some love. If it's yourself, pat yourself on the back. I want to know a little bit more details. Drop it in the comments on YouTube if you're watching, or drop it as a promo clip on Instagram. Let everybody know. Give them a shout out. This is phenomenal. This is incredibly accurate and incredibly done. From the helmet, there's no flaws here. There's no flaws. From the helmet down to the visor on the helmet, to the mouthpiece, to the shoulder piece. There's a name for it. I forgot what it's called. I believe it's even mentioned in episode 3 of Kombat in the Grid. It's absolutely phenomenal, dude, with the green scales going on there. The attention to detail, my friend. Oh, God, yes! The attention to detail, my friend, with the gold on there and everything. It is absolutely perfect. You got the bicep strap there. The gloves are phenomenal with the gold plating on the forearms and everything. It's absolutely dope, dude. The fabric on your actual suit with the white, the yellow outlines and everything. The ab area and all that. You've got the belt with the morpher. It's phenomenal, dude. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I want to throw up a second photo here, and I'll throw that up now. Oh, look at this, dude. And it is D Prime with previous cosplay of the week and I was going to say, I don't know why I was going to say former. What the hell? Former Kombat in the Grid cast member is not a former Kombat in the Grid cast member. It is a previous cosplay of the week, a future guest on this show, and a current Kombat in the Grid cast member, and that is Louie at Latin Nerd Cosplayer on Instagram. That's also in this photo, and the photo was by Ken Cosplay, who is co-creator of Kombat in the Grid and the concept designer. That is Ken with 2 N's _cosplay. But in this photo, you see Draken holding Latin Nerd in his Red Ranger cosplay, holding him by the neck. I don't know if this is a future screenshot, or I guess you could say from Kombat in the Grid, or maybe not a screenshot, being that the photo was taken by Ken, but a moment that occurs in Kombat in the Grid and Ken snapped the shot, or a recreation of a moment that happens in Kombat in the Grid in the future episode, or if this was just on set, or maybe this was just a moment that occurred between them two and they snapped a dope photo. Either way, it's absolutely dope. Like I said, we see Latin Nerd's Red Ranger here. Draken is holding him down. He's down on his knees. He's doing what he does, showing that he's powerful, that he's out to get them. You know what I mean? He's got him by the neck and everything, and just the way that your stance is perfect. You're holding his forearm there. The other arm is up, like you're kind of, you can't see the expression on your face, so you gotta show the expression through your body language, and you guys captured that perfectly. Draken with the other hand going up. This is absolutely phenomenal, man. This is absolutely phenomenal. But what do you expect when it comes from members of Kombat in the Grid? And the caption for this photo says, quote, "All this power, and they gave it to teenagers with attitude." I love it, man. I absolutely love it, dude. This is absolutely dope. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta go follow D Prime XD on Instagram, spelled exactly how it sounds, because D Prime, your Lord Draken, cosplay of the week for me is amazing.
We interrupt this program to bring you...
All right, time to play some Halo.
Have you been a cosplay of the week on the world's greatest podcast, the Side Project Podcast?
What?
Have you been a cosplay of the week on the Side Project Podcast?
Yes, I have. How did you know?
Just by looking at you, I can tell you associate with greatness. And what better way to show that off than to showcase your Cosplay of the Week tee, available on the Side Project merch store now.
Oh my God! It drapes across my nipples so perfectly.
Exactly. There's also a Cosplay of the Week mug and many other Side Project products you can drape across those bad boys, like the Project Lodian tee.
Oh, I get it. It's kind of like Nickelodeon, but not.
The Project Network tee.
It's like Cartoon Network, but not.
The Project Line sweater.
It's a great design, and it keeps me warm.
Become a Chazosaurus Rex yourself when you sport the Chazosaurus Rex tee.
This guy kind of looks like me.
There's so many designs available, you'll lose your mind.
I'm losing my mind.
Tees, sweaters, hoodies, long sleeves, mugs, whatever you're looking for, get it on the Side Project merch store now and validate your sexiness.
Once again, I want to give a shout out and I want to thank Shelly Santiago and Alexander Florencio, East Coast Power Rangers, and True Evil Ryu, the Green Ranger and the Black Ranger for Kombat in the Grid, for coming on the show. I want to send a shout out to everybody involved with Kombat in the Grid. I've talked to a lot of you personally, and I can't wait to talk to a lot more of you in the future and hopefully get a lot of people on the show, get insider information on Kombat in the Grid, some behind the scenes details and everything like that, and also talk with you guys about your solo endeavors. I cannot wait. I am a fan of this series and I'm humbled and thankful to have everybody come on the show, tune into the show. You guys are great. I'm so appreciative. I want to give a major shout out to Mike Patron for always being supportive of what I've got going on as well, and always trying to involve me in things that are going on with Kombat in the Grid. It's an absolute honor. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. Thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for doing all of those things that you do over on youtube.com/Side Project Podcast. When you go down and hit that big red subscribe button, it goes, it's morphin' time. And you get 100 sexy project points. What are we doing with those project points? I don't know, dude. There's probably people that have racked up so many project points, and I don't even know what we're doing with them. For the people that are just tuning in for the first time and you're asking, what are project points? Hey, dude. I don't know, man. But you get them when you press subscribe. They go in your bank. It's like crypto, but you can't really do much with them yet. Maybe one day it'll actually be real crypto. It'll be project points, project coins. Who knows? You never know. Thank you for listening on Apple, Google, Spotify, and all those things you listen on. When you rate and review, you thumbs up, you do all those things you do. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're looking for me personally, you can find me on Instagram at IGHateschazzy, and everything else you need to find me at is right here below. If you're looking for the podcast as a whole, you can find it on Instagram at Side Project Podcast. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Go watch Kombat in the Grid.